So yeah, so now I'm back on track to finish this. There's not a lot of parts left, so I'm almost done. After I'm done this, okay, how are we for stability? No, we seem fine. CPU's running at 90 still. I really do need a... I wonder what it costs to put more RAM in this laptop. It doesn't matter, because within a week I should have a brand new system. And I'll be able to migrate my gaming system to a streaming system. And that will solve, hopefully, all of my problems about the weakness of my technical equipment. Okay, so what are we going to do now? Just looking to see if there's anyone in here, and I am not seeing any kind of notification there's someone here. By rights, there should be. I can't read that screen from all the way back there, so let's take a look what this says. Let's put that in there before I lose it, which I obviously would. Because Murphy's Law states that what can go wrong will go wrong. Interesting. It says there is nobody here. I'm using the Twitch app to actually see the stream and to see any comments in the chat. Because as I've said, my system is not up to this task. So basically my stream is put together by hodgepodging a bunch of things together just to... Okay, there we go. So, how interesting. Using a browser is telling me how many people are watching, but the app itself is not. And I have to admit, the app, yeah, not much for the app. I don't think it's working the way they want it to, or the way they would. Okay. All right, so we're going to continue on. I'm just going to plod along until someone shows up and asks a question. Okay, so we're back to this, and these pieces are in here. So this damn thing that went missing on me. 2 of these pins. I think for the most part we're just finishing off the mechanics are done. I think now it's just the minor details. I think finding that missing piece was not that tough, fortunately. As you can see, there's a chair right here, and the missing piece was actually stuck there. It was underneath it. So to pull the chair out was really simple. Yeah, so I figure I've got to put in side piece, top piece. There's probably another piece to go in here. Then the wheels. I know there's a side view mirror or 2 that have to go on, and after that, it should basically be done. Let's give it the proper clearance so it can swivel around. Okay, so back to where we were. So that goes on there. Oh. that's what I forgot to test. Are the alerts. I think I might be having a problem with them. Okay, so where the heck is that? That's a... Oh, whew. For a second I wasn't seeing this. I'm thinking, oh man. Now I haven't dealt with that piece very much in here. I think there's... This might be the only black one. There's a few in there, but really did not want to find out that I've made another mistake. No. I'm at the point now where I don't think it's gonna kill me if I just combine some stuff. Make this last little stretch easier, hopefully. Okay, so Alexa, cancel timer. That timer was for tea. I bought this at a dollar store for $4. Now there's a problem. The hole that allows the liquid to flow properly wasn't through the plastic piece, so I just drilled a hole. So that works fine. The problem is that it insulates so well that after I pour a cup of tea, I actually leave the lid off, and I set a timer for 20 minutes, and then I can almost drink it because it's so hot. So that's what that timer was for. And it's still really hot. This thing will keep tea hot for like an hour and a half. It's amazing. And it only cost me $4. I've heard people paying $30 or more for one. I kind of wish it had a handle, but like most things I work with, I like cups with lids on them because I'm used to being on computers and whatnot. So my biggest fear is if something hits the floor, one, it's not glass, so it won't shatter, and two, the lid won't pop off and spill everywhere. Okay, well, we don't do decals, so probably going to need an axle for a pin. Oh, yeah. And one 6-axle, which is being used as a locking pin. There we go. It's a little flimsy. Like, parts of it don't have the stability I would have liked to see. This is second generation pneumatics apparently, so there's no tank. They did include the pump and the hoses and the assembly and all that stuff to drive the pump with an electric motor. It doesn't include an electric motor in the kit for this one, but you can add it later on, and the instructions include how to modify the bottom to put the battery pack in the bottom, and the motor, take this side off and just slide the motor into place. What I can't figure out is, once you run the motor and the pressure builds, what happens when the pressure hits a certain amount? Does it slow down the motor enough that it can't turn, which threatens to burn it out? Or is there some kind of a release pressure valve somewhere in here? Like, I mean, the cylinder only has a single outlet. That's it. There isn't an input and an output. It's just a simple output. And I don't know if there's actually a valve, pressure valve in there somewhere. Perhaps. Because I imagine with the motor running it, this thing probably works pretty well. I mean, it's a little lethargic now, but... This way. It's crispy, you can't even see it. Silly me. Okay, so let's continue on. So how many trucks are left? That's for the motor. $403. So there's like 38 steps left, and this thing is finished. Okay, billions of decals. We don't do decals. They're in mint condition, and they're going to stay that way. Good lord. What the heck are they doing this time? Yeah, I definitely need to take more care to make sure I have the correct parts and put the parts in the correct spot. Make sure they're oriented correctly in certain cases. Otherwise, I spend a lot of time looking for my mistakes and having to take things apart. So it was actually yesterday I started out by talking about the fact I'd made a mistake. There was a wrong part somewhere in beneath the drive assembly, the steering. So I had to take it apart to get to the part I needed to swap it out with the correct one. Oh, what fun. No, that's the wrong one I want. What's going on? Oh man, are you kidding me? No way. There's a... oh, shoot. Oh, that scared me. Whoever thought of Lego being a horror show? A horror show is when you think you've missed a piece and it's stuck somewhere in there where it was not supposed to be. Then you have to go find it. And then pray it's easy to remove. And that you can put it all back together. Yeah, I mean, if I'd made these mistakes during the lava build, that'd be it. I might as well just take it all apart and start all over again. Not that there's anyone to ask, but yes, I have taken Lego sets apart as lava as well. I did 3 small city sets, and I'm never going to do it again because it really is hard on the parts to try and pull them apart using pliers and stuff. It leaves a lot of marks, you chews them up, so nope. I know it can be done, and if you really don't care what state the pieces are in after you're done, oh yeah, sure, it's really easy to take Lego apart, but that's lava. Part of the point of owning Lego is that you can take it apart, build it again, or build something else, or so destroying them? No. Lego is not a throwaway toy. Let's not be throwing parts around, buddy. What in the world? Oh, okay. I scared myself again. It's done. Okay, now that is weird. Okay, so that, fine. Was that really necessary? There is no other way of doing that. I mean, you've got the strength of 2 pieces holding it in place. That's really weird. Damn it. Scaring the crap out of myself. Okay, that's hinged. Cool. I think that's for the top, probably. dropped frames is 0.5%, so I think that's acceptable. By rights, that would suggest this is unnoticeable. Which is right now the best I can hope for. Oh, good lord, what is this? Okay. What in the world? Okay, I think I have an idea what's going on with this. I might actually get through this entire stream without anyone showing up. Damn. I keep forgetting to tell myself that you have to announce through brick building Discord, through Twitter. The only two places. Yeah, I think that's the two main places to announce I'll be doing my show. So what happened to the swivel? Why is there a swivel and yet it doesn't work? Connect that. Okay. Oh, yeah, I think I understand this part now. I get it. Still doesn't explain why there's an extra swivel built into that. Not thrilled with that, but... Whoa! That's all locked into place now. Okay. Now. Well, there have been a number of surprises surprises during the build, but I did enjoy it. As I said before, I haven't built a Technic set I think at least 12 years. Wow, it's been that long. But I have, I think, roughly 20 altogether. And so I plan on doing them all as lava at some point. So what was I thinking? It's about 8 hours? Leisurely hours to put this together. Not including the pack steps I had to make to fix a few errors. But about 8 hours. So I'm thinking as lava, this thing probably takes 40. My initial guess was 30, but look at maybe 40. The hoses are going to be probably the biggest problem I have. The fit over the nipples is really tough. Now, granted, now that I've put it together once, they've stretched out a bit, so disconnecting and reattaching them hopefully will go easier. Otherwise, I might actually have to cheat. I'm trying to remember what I call it. I'm calling it a build fault. Essentially, I'm trying to think of a term for when you actually have to use your hands to build, to do a specific steps, because there's no way mechanically I can figure out how to do it. And I want a notation for that, so anyone who wants to try this, take up this challenge, maybe they can figure out how to do some of these steps without using their hands that I couldn't. So that's kind of my hope of what will happen with this. People might see the challenge in it, take it up. Oh, whew. Damn, stop doing that. Damn, go in there. Jeez. Every time I turn around, it looks like I'm missing a piece. Which means either A, the set is missing a piece, or B, I buried it somewhere in there and I have to go look for it. Which is not proving to be all that much fun. This thing goes where? Oh, wait a minute. Okay. I'm guessing they're going to want to pin. No. What in the world are you guys talking about? Oh. You're kidding, right? Okay, I get it. The only way this works is if you drop the whole assembly. Okay. There we go. Now well, whatever. Okay, so that's where it belongs. Oh, I can't really see it. What in the world are you guys doing now? So this is meant to be a... No? Oh no, it goes under. There we go. Jeez. Guys, the instructions are not all that great for this stuff. Perhaps a little rethinking would be in order. Okay. Might be good to know that for the lava build. Just some way to build a clamp to hold on to it so I can pick it up and put it down. for a double set of mirrors. This is funny. When I made the mistake at stage 312, I had no, it was 312. No, it was further back. When I was trying to track down the error, and I was counting the number of pieces and where they all went, trying to keep a count for them all. This is where I hit a problem, something like this. Currently, it looks like you only need 2 blue spline pins. So for the quick scan and you're just counting parts, you write down 2. Well, if you don't catch the times 2, it actually turns out you need 4, so that means you have to account for 4 pieces being used, otherwise your count's off. So that was something I got to learn yesterday, the hard way. Keep an eye out for those kinds of counts when trying to figure out a mistake. Wait a minute. What is up with that? Oh, whew. Oh. This is where I had another problem. I put 2 gray ones. I put 2 black ones in the build, and it turned out they needed to be gray. So when I corrected the mistake, I separated these to make sure hoping I wouldn't lose them again. No, wait a minute. They actually accounted properly this time. So you actually only need 2 blue pins to make both. But that previous instruction I mentioned, they didn't. They didn't account for the doubles. You need twice as many. That's curious. Oh, hey, there may actually be people here. Hi. Welcome to Arctic's Empire. I'm Arctic. Today is day 5. I don't know if you should call it day 5 or episode 5 of a traditional technical build, which, as you can see, I'm close to being done. My plans for the near future are to finish this, start another set. When I finish that one, I'm going to take them both apart, and then I'm going to put this back together as lava. It's going to become a lava set, which means no hands. Any kind of tool you can buy, any kind of tool you can build, and you can build tools out of Lego if you want, which in a lot of cases is what's going to happen for this. I'm going to end up... Why does that look like it's upside down? Bet you it is. I'll take a look at it later. I think this plate's upside down. Figures. Okay, so yeah, I'm just in the final stages of finishing this one off. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Just say hi. I've been streaming for a while, a couple months, but on and off, so I have no set schedule, no consistent schedule yet. So it'd be nice to meet people who come in. Okay, so where was I? 2 elbows. 2 of them. And 2 of these. I think that's everything, so... Ta-da! There's one. No, I need another flat tile. I keep shortcutting when I'm building, and I shouldn't be. Make sure I've got everything I need here, then build it, and make sure there's nothing left over. Otherwise, I end up with surprises. Unwanted surprises. All still quiet, so I'm guessing guessing my audience is currently scan bots, which, hey, it counts as a viewer, and every viewer counts. Okay. Okay, so this one I understand. I understand that mirror, but this one must go in here. Okay. Still leaves this piece, which I'm guessing will be addressed in the next stage. Okay, so just been trying to figure out what I need to do with the stream next, the next stages of improving it. And one, I have to get Nightbot running, because all I'm looking at when it's quiet in here is just song after song after song from Pretzel. And I appreciate the free, royalty-free music. It's just depressing to see the only thing in chat is this song, that song, that song, and nobody else. So throw some chat bot in there just to cheer me up, maybe. Dun, dun, dun. Both go in this side, okay. I don't know how far these are supposed to be set in. Oh. Wow, we're getting short on parts now. Oh, someone else here. Hi. Welcome to Arctic's Empire. I'm Arctic. Today's a traditional build. This is episode 6. No, episode 5. So, as you can probably tell, I am almost done this build. Okay, and that's where you go. So it looks like these get set all the way in as far as they'll go. Come on. Turn. That's better. Guardrail of sorts, I guess. Time for the tires. Cool. We are so close. So close to our first Technic Build in 12 years. At least 12 years. I've put a lot of tires and rims together as lava, and it's turned out to be surprisingly easy. When I first started out, I thought this would be one of the most difficult things to do, but it's not. It takes a little finagling to seat them in their rims properly sometimes, but for the most part, this part's easy. Okay. Now to put wheels on this little monster. Oh, they go the other way. Okay. Oh, what was that? What was that? Uh-oh. What did you do? There's nothing missing. I thought maybe I pushed out a lock, for lack of a better word. Oh, yeah, no, there we go. I am missing a gray axle lock. I'm missing one of these. One of these just fell off and hit the floor. Well, by rights, it rolled up in that direction. Oh, there it is. I lucked out. I have really bad floors. So my biggest fear is that if a piece hits the floor, it'll drop between the floorboards. These are old original floors to the building. So the floor is like 100 years old. There's lots of gaps. So, okay. So note to self. Ow, what was that? So, put you back on there. Not entirely sure how it got knocked off in the first place, but okay. So that tire's on all the way. Now, maybe putting the tires on the model will be tricky. Whoops. There we go. Okay. No playing. We're not finished yet. Oh, wow. I've never seen that before. These little locking washers, I guess you'd call them, actually countersink right into the rim. I've never seen that before. It's kind of a nice little touch. Okay. These, I guess, make for a nice little design accent, but that's a pain in the butt to take apart. That's what it generally means to me. Whoops. Gotta be careful where you pick this thing up from. It does not like being on its side, because a lot of it's not designed to take the weight. It looks like for the most part you have to pick it up by the base of the mast. That seems to be the most sturdy place to pick it up. Now I know there's a few extra pieces afterwards because some pieces are needed if you're going to put the motor in. So I know I don't use up every single... Oh, that's it. We're done. Look at that. That's awesome. Alignment on that's a bit dicey, but... Not sure how much of this you can see. Oh yeah, okay. Skycam seems to be a good angle for everybody. There we go. I think it needs a little work. Break it in a bit. It's a little awkward. I guess we want thud. Okay. Okay, cool. I like that. Oh, I forgot it's got steering. Now, steering is not as tight as I'd like to have seen it. I was actually debating while I was building it. There's a couple of stoppers in here. I thought about actually leaving the stoppers out to give it a better turn radius, but I'm thinking they included them to keep it from binding up on itself somewhere. The heck? Oh. Apparently my neighbors decided to play guitar. So it's probably good that I'm actually going to call it a night. Let's see, we've been here an hour, so okay. Well, I do like it. It is cool. I'm curious as to how quickly it responds when there's an actual motor running the pump. Oh yeah, and then it's also got this. Now I'm used to other sets. These were powered, these are hydraulic, but in this case they're not. But oh. In this case they lock into place when they're up or down. These extra gray pieces lock it into place so they don't drop. Now there's only the two. I don't know if the real thing has just the two in the back or if there's two in the front as well, but in this case there's only the two. I guess we should turn this way for the camera, for the sky cam to catch it. That's cool. So I'm remembering this is like 1,100 pieces, I think. It's going to take me a while to get used to the controls. Actually, let's see if it actually can. Get out of the way. You stick a bunch of stuff in there. Let's see if it'll pick anything up. No, not really. There we go. Oops. Ah, I got 2 items. Okay. Let's put that aside for now. I got some extra pieces, which I don't know if there's a secondary build for this. Usually there are. Now, there are no instructions because LEGO doesn't include, generally does not include the second set of printed instructions for the alternate build. They don't normally do that now, so I have sets that did, but the newer stuff they don't. Okay, so this is for the next show. How was it show on my camera? Sorry, I'm just waiting for the time delay. Yeah, okay, that's good. Yeah, so this is next. I actually have 2 of these. One I bought officially from LEGO, and this one I actually found at a liquidator for 115 bucks. So I think it's a little over half price, but I couldn't pass it up. Now the box is a little dinged up, but it's still sealed. So by rights, everything is in there. It's a complete set. So I'm going to build this one next as a normal set, and then I'm going to take both of these apart. Just turn that for illustration. Then I'm going to take both of them apart, and I'm going to use this set for parts, for tools, to help me build this as Lego. As lava, sorry. Yeah, this will become a lava set next. I know that certain parts of the build will go fine from previous experience with simpler city sets, but I did see some really nasty problems coming up. I see a lot of stands and jigs being made to hold pieces and hold sub-assemblies in position so that I can put other pieces in or put them together. So I see a lot of that. I also see simple handles to be able to pick up the parts and move them around, because there's a lot of orienting and reorienting and turning things on their sides. So there's going to be a lot of that to do this. One of the big challenges will be the more pins that have to be aligned to lock a beam in, the more difficult it is for them to line up and be able to just push it straight in. So, I have that problem. That'll happen to anybody, any kind of a normal build. Sometimes those pins don't quite line up properly, so to lock in it can be difficult. So I know that's going to be a problem. Some of the alignments are a little tricky. It takes some finagling. I know that some parts, the way they're put in, they're kind of hooked under. So positioning certain things in the right location and then pushing the pins in is going to be tricky. I haven't figured out how I want to deal with pushing pins in like that. I'd like some kind of a, well, I have pliers and stuff, but I might have to make Lego pliers with larger jaw sets. So I can adjust the size so I can clamp it, and I only need to move so far, but in order to get into certain locations, the pliers are going to have to be custom made with a custom width. The big challenge will be the hoses. Pushing the hoses onto the T-bars or onto the actual pumps. Now the pumps have a tapered end. No, not the pumps, sorry, the valves. The valves have tapered ends. So pushing hoses onto them wasn't too bad. But these T-bars, they're a really nasty fit. It took some work to actually get the hoses straight on. But now that they've been stretched out for the first time build, hopefully they'll be easier to deal with. Let's see what else is there. Oh, I'm sorry, you guys can't see any of this. I have to do this over again. Let me just move this guy out of the way. Yeah. Sorry, that's better. Yeah, so to reiterate, these pieces are really snug. They're hard to put into their sockets. Then you have this problem where you have to put an axle through. Now, in some cases, a number of the beams are actually splined. So there's a lot of friction to push the axle through 1, 2, 3, or 4 beams, or through various other pieces like this. So pushing axles through so many pieces at once is really difficult. Doing it by hand, not so bad, but I'm not sure how to deal with that as lava. There's also a question of how far to set an axle in a piece. Make sure the spacing's right for what has to be attached to it. So I gotta figure out, I think I have a way of presetting a countersink to be able to drop the axle the correct distance through. This beam was a tight fit. I think trying to snake it in there and then pop it into place, that was a tricky little maneuver. It'll be tricky to do as lava, for sure. Yeah, now we're back to, as I was saying, the hoses. The valves are fine, and the actual pneumatic cylinders, they're also tapered, but as I said, the T-bars are a problem. And actually putting them into place, I mean, here they were already attached, but to reconnect the other ends further into the build is tricky. They didn't leave a lot of room to snake the hoses around. Yeah, see, as you can see, they're actually tapered, which is a big help. So unfortunately, they didn't do it with the T-bars. The T connectors? Yeah, I should call that T connector. That's part of the assembly for the motor. If you add a motor, it gets connected here. So this is the pump that runs the whole system with a motor on it. I'm trying to think. Yeah, the motor just plugs into this end right here, turns, and then activates the pump. Again, I don't know what happens if there's too much pressure in the system. I don't know enough about this new system they're using. So I don't know if there's enough back pressure, the motor simply stops turning, which theoretically you could end up burning it out. Or if there's a pressure valve somewhere in here that releases at a certain point, which allows the motor to continue pumping, but you're not going to burn out the motor or blow a hose off a connector or something. All in all, the most difficult part of this build were the mistakes I made by substituting the wrong pieces in the wrong places. which happened at least twice. It proved to be a bit of an adventure to correct the problems. And I know exactly which two pieces did it to me too. Yeah, these ones. These ones and the black version. This one has a spline axle on it, whereas the black ones have just two straight through holes. Yeah. This is where I made my 312. Yeah, this is the mistake. That was supposed to be a gray. I actually put a black one in. So by the time I got to, what, 395 or 356, that's when I realized, well, I knew something was wrong, and it took a while for me to backtrack and find out it was this specific piece right here that I did wrong, and that screwed up. Yeah, see? I know it's hard to see here, but this one's just straight through a board, and this one actually has a spline. This is designed for holding locking an axle. So if you get them mixed up, somewhere down the line, it's going to bite you in the backside. Which it did to me. But it took me a while. Because, well, let's get through the rest of this and I'll go back to the other interesting thing in these instructions, which I want to confirm actually was an error. Or perhaps just need to be better planned or illustrated. Why this is double hinged, I don't know. The one hinge is fine because it allows the plate to come up and down, but it's also hinged in another way, so it should be able to do this, and I don't know why they did. And they locked it out. The last beam you put in, this beam locks it out, so it can no longer swivel on that other axis. I don't know why they did that. All of that. So what was... Let's try to think, where did I have the problem? Because it appears if you misplace a part in the wrong stage, you end up doing an inventory of everything. Oh, damn. It's funny, I have all the numbers, all the steps listed for those specific parts are actually written down. Trying to remember where did it happen. I have it written down, but I don't have the pad of paper with me. It's sitting behind me on my desk. Damn. Actually, I'm gonna go grab it. I'll be back in just a couple of seconds. Just throwing it. Okay. So where is it? 93 or 95? Nope. Ah, here. No, that's not it. Nope, that wasn't it. 58. 93. 95. Nope. 114. Oh, come on, where is it? Nope. 201. Could have sworn it happened early in the build. definitely where I ran into the problem. Yeah, this is where it happened. Right, this was the miscount. Yeah. So what happens is, in the instructions, it says one of these, fine, but you have to make them twice. So as I was counting through, because at the very end, there's an inventory of parts. So here, where is it? 24 parts. So 24 of them are in the set, and in this case, all 24 are used on this particular model. So as you're counting through, see, I see one, then I keep counting. So I kept coming to 23 parts accounted for. I couldn't find the 24th. And then I finally realized that I had to make 2 of these, but the instructions do not account for it, for the inventory. So by rights, you double all of this. So that's where I found my 24th piece. So that was interesting. So yeah, I've definitely learned my lesson for a few things, and hopefully I will remember them for future times, so I don't make those errors again. Ideally, putting it together properly the first time is the best way to do this. But accidents happen and mistakes are made, and then there's a question of how to recover from it, how to fix it. Discover the error, research it, figure out the error, correct it, and then move on. So all said and done, here we go. There is one thing here, I'm still not entirely sure what, oh, you can't see it anymore. There's a piece on a pin that pivots and it flops up and down, but I do not know what it's for. I think it's meant to be a spacer of some sort to keep the cabin from dropping too far inward. And I'm guessing the reason why it's hinged is because because of Lego math, there was nowhere to put it in the exact right spot. It'll always be offset for what they needed, so they made it a floating piece to ensure a position in the right spot. Okay, so I've been at this an hour and 18 minutes. Okay. And at some point I have to take that apart. And do it all over again as lava. And then, yeah, we're still looking at this one too. This one shows the alternate build too. Here we've got a 4x4 cat track pickup truck. But on the back, it also shows an Arctic cat. Because I also plan on doing that. I also want to do the lava builds of the alternate builds, which could prove interesting because at certain times having an actual manual you can touch makes it a lot easier to figure out orientation. Plus being able to flip back and forth through pages makes it a little easier when certain assemblies and steps are they're not clear, they're a little difficult to understand. Yeah, so I'm going to have to look into, I don't even know what the alternate build is for this Volvo crab. I'm trying to remember what it was called. The box didn't actually declare what it was. Just that it's an Evo, what's the name of the show? Yeah, EW160E Excavator. The excavator, I found that posted somewhere else as to what it was. Because the book and the box it came in, as you can see, doesn't include the fact it's an excavator. Whereas a lot of things, I mean, this one says, does it say? Yeah. Extreme Adventure. So they've actually named it. In this particular instance, they don't seem to have named it. Okay, so, well, we got 6 people, which is good. It's better than what I normally have. But yeah, I'm going to call it. Not sure if I'm streaming tomorrow. Well, streaming this anyway. Am I going to? Am I not? I really should have all this organized and figured out before I start the stream. That way I don't have to sit here trying to figure it out live in front of you. Look like I don't know what I'm doing. I don't actually know what I'm doing. I'm just piecing this together as I go along. Okay, well, my name's Arctic. This is Arctic's Empire. Today was episode 5 of a traditional Technic build of an excavator. The next show will be the other set. So I'm thinking that's going to be between 8 and 9 episodes to build. And then I'm going to take them both apart and I'm going to rebuild this as lava. And see what happens. I also have other shows on the go. The Witching Hour, I'm still developing. I've only done a few episodes of something, so I need to work more on that. And Arctic's, Squirrel's Bay is coming along as well. I have to do stuff for that. So I have a variety of different kinds of shows on my stream, which is what I want. It looks like I'm dealing with basically day stuff and night stuff. And in there, there'll be lots of gaming. I'm a huge WoW player. I love playing WoW. And along with other games. So I'm going to stop rambling, and I'm just going to call it a day. So, just want to thank everybody for being here. Wait a minute, maybe we can find someone. Hopefully next week I'll have a proper system. Where did he go? Let's go to WoW Hubs. I actually met him at the last Toronto Twitch meetup. I feel like an idiot. I didn't know he's actually very famous as a streamer and a person who posts a lot of YouTube content, a lot with WoW, and then he took up Hearthstone right from beta, and he spends a lot of his time doing that. He's not currently playing it though. Okay, well, we're gonna go raid him. Okay, yeah, that was my mistake. So back up. There we go. Make sure you're on the right screen before you do something like this. I think that's right. What, you can't post a raid from here? Waiting for this thing to wake up. Oh, there it is. Okay.
I think the one might be for bonus at the end. Thank you for the kind raid, Arctic Empire. How are you doing, by the way? Playing some little Binding of Isaac. Oh, look, he fades away. Well, I got a couple bombs for that, so that's good. You think there's another one here? Buy the HP from the shop. The poop gives you 50. The HP. I don't think I got any HP I can buy. I guess I can buy this, the see-through one. I can buy this one, but I can't buy the 3, right? There. Can't blow that up. Oh, sweet. Okay. I can go into here because I'm so low, which is nice. Well, thank you, Arctic. You just got a Lego build done. Thank you very much, buddy. Guys, can we get a shout out for Arctic Empire in chat? I got a chance to... I wasn't sure that I met so many names, but now that you mentioned Lego build, I had seen your stream once since we met. He does Lego builds, guys, with... you said with tools, right? Oh my goodness. I don't think I've ever fought this thing, so I don't know what to expect. Oh, I might have fought it once, a long time ago. So I expect to die here. I do know what to expect. A little troll bomb after all that? Thanks. Just what I needed. So I got a little meat cube.